Welcome to the GLAC Studios. This is Gomati Sivasankaran. We are in the class 9 of Ardhanareeshwarar painting, the half man, half woman, or the complete universe with masculine and feminine energy in balance. That's what we are trying to do. And let's just quickly go over what we have done so far as a recap. Um, Yes, this is layer two. We are in layer two of the painting where we have started filling or blocking colors in the sections where we are sure of what we want to do and so on. So we did that in the last two classes, um, looking at three different references. So we have three different references that we are working with, and you can always find these references in the links available. Right now, we are now in the stage of possibly finishing the layer 2 today. So let's first get on to that aspect of looking into what we have done so far and correcting that before even we are ready to move on to the sections where we have not touched upon. Yeah, so we are going to review all these sections and look at possibilities of doing some corrections. I have already noticed some things that I missed that I'll have to fulfill. So let's just get on with that. Okay, I have all three references with me, and I'm going to make this camera the primary camera. Okay. So in case you haven't, you please have all these references ready with you, either in the printed format or ready in your laptop or any device. The colors, the paints and brushes, and all the materials that we discussed in detail in the last two sessions, and I don't think we have anything different to add from that. So it's going to be the same. So right now I'm looking at the spaces where I want to do some corrections and place some things. The first thing I think I noticed that was was missing when we were working on it on the painting yesterday was that the parallel curves of jewelry that should come here on Shakti's side, Parvati's side, or Shakti's side. So I am going to take brush number 3 round, and I will use the same yellow ochre from yesterday to go ahead and do those. So I'm just going to mark, and because it's not dry enough, it's going to blend in, but that's okay. As long as we are able to define those spaces, it is fine, I guess. So I'm just doing that, defining that space. And if you want to go and refer, I think you can find the same thing in all the paintings. Almost all the paintings have a very similar structure of making a parallel of Shiva's Rudraksha Mala to with the jewelry here for Shakti. That was one thing that was missing. And the damaru as such, the drum as such, also has a very similar tonality. So I'm just going to use the yellow ochre to fill in. Let me move the camera a tad bit closer to that so you get to see. So I'm filling in that space. Yeah, that was one thing. What else was missing from last session? I did say that we need the half moon, but we could do it also at a later stage, just so that we don't miss it. Um, I did say that we could always do it at the later stage, but I would like to just have that marked here for now. Yeah. That's one thing. I don't know if I have marked it right. It goes on the sideways, slightly away from where I have marked. Guess it should be fine. Let's see. Um, and what else? I I think we need to work on the flower as well, and the Ganga water. The Ganga water can be done in white. I'm using zero brush. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Yeah, so it's going to be a zero brush to just make it easier, so we don't miss out on this while we are working into the background. Yeah, so I have marked that, and there is some correction that I wanted to do with respect to the foot. So I'll have to just move this slightly up to fit in. So I'm going to move this slightly up and show you where things are, what could have been better in terms of the correction. All right. So we are right now at the foot, and if you see the way the foot is, it should be coming to look like a V shape, which isn't happening. Somehow it is slightly away, which means I should have the thumb here going here, and the foot going in this angle. Yeah, that's the angle of foot for Shiva, and the same thing has to happen here as well. So the angle of foot has to be here. So if this is the angle of foot that we are going to do, then we'll have to rework on these colors as well. I'm just looking at the blue. If I have a tad bit of that already, I guess I can use that to focus on this requirement here, at least to put in that space. I'm doing that. But for the color that we mixed, for Shakti's skin color, the base color that we mixed, it was, I think I took Mars red and added white to that. So I'm just doing that. And readjusting that, which means when we do the background color, we'll have to hide a little bit on these sides that we have done. Yeah, that's one thing. Which means the skirt will also come down. The sari also will come down like this. So this is the angle that I wanted to correct on the foot. So right now, what is pending is also the trident before we work on the background. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera up further. So we look at the trident. Yes, good. Right now, if you look at the trident, what is the best one? The trident has got a very good shape. Yeah, we'll have to work on that. I'm going to take yellow ochre again and do that. Maybe I'll add a little bit of the darker brown that I had from the previous, session to just darken it up slightly, but not too much. I'm still working with the uh, brush number 0. So this trident has this angle here. Yeah, that's the angle of the trident. Yeah, this is sharp here, and this is it looks like a diamond shape here in the middle. And then you have, there are all three look similar, but not the same. But I'm just picking up the reference from this picture. Yeah, trying to build on that. And making this go slightly bigger with a curve. I guess this is fair enough for now. Yeah. So we've got the shape of the trident. We'll work on this. There is a cloth that is coming, isn't it? From the trident. I'll use some other remaining color to show it, but I think I will just work on the line, through the line. I think it's okay that we just draw a simple line here. We can work on that at a later stage. At least we can see where things are, so it's fine. Right. So I'm looking for a color. I'm going to add whatever is there with this. The remaining color from the skin color that I made for Shakti. I'm going to use that to just define this cloth near the trident. Yeah. Fill that in. So we are ready to move on to the next stage, which is the background. Yeah. So we have made quite a bit of corrections. Oh, and before we go on to the background, there's also this flower, lotus flower. So I'm just using the pink, the light pink that we had for Shakti skin color base to just draw this, moving this around. Okay. So I'm doing that right away, not going into the details, but just filling it in here. The stem can be another color, but for now, I'm just filling it to get the thing going, get the job moving. So I guess we are done with the corrections and additions and changes. To a certain extent, we are now ready to move on to the next stage, which is, if you remember correctly, we hadn't really decided on the background, except for the fact that I said we are going to have some mountains also behind. Mm, I like this idea of mountain, the way it is really subtle, not too much detail here in this reference. But the challenge here with this reference is that the mountain seems to be taller than the tip of this hair. Uh, uh, yeah, and her crown, and it doesn't give us that clear feeling of any water coming out. Like Ganga, that is missing. That component is missing. Another thing is that it is too tall. Yeah, and that wouldn't fit in this picture because we have used the whole length of the picture. If I have to just go up and down for you, we have used the whole length of the picture of this frame. So it doesn't really make sense that we have anything taller. I would prefer things in the background going at shoulder length or below of Shiva and Shakti. So I'm just going to draw something, draw a line possibly to start with. I'm going to start with the row 3, giving that mountainous feel. So it looks like it's almost the height coming close to their shoulder, not above. Hmm? I've drawn it ever so lightly. You might not be able to see it clearly, but that is fine. We are going to start covering it. And this, I would say, you don't have to necessarily copy what I am doing. But of course, do follow the idea that let it not be above 3/4 of the whole length of the frame. So it is not so overpowering. Yeah, in a way. Yeah. So that's going to be the sky, and this is going to be the mountain, and we will have a bit of sand on the row 8 to show where they are standing. Hmm? Hmm. I'm still on the check on things that I have missed or not. I have one more element that I want to add, which is the conch. And we did not add the conch from the previous picture when we did the superstructure because it wasn't so clear. It is clear in this reference and also clear in this reference. I like the shape of the conch, the way it is here in the seated position. um, I think I'm going to use that. The conch is that small little trumpet sort of thing that you can see hanging around the hip of Shiva. So I'm going to make a space for that. I am not really worried about the color now. I'm just taking the remaining white to add here, which is going to blend. It's okay if it is blending here. And I'm making that shape, conch shape here. Yes. Yeah. I am bringing this down here. So you could see that I'm making this conch shape here. Mhm. So we have the space for the conch also made. Mhm. Fair enough. I think we have defined whatever we wanted to define and filled in. Uh, we can continue blocking. Right now, to block, I'm going to move on to an angular brush first. Brush number 18 from the small series, and it's an angular brush. Yes, I'm going to take that, and I will need a lot of white. I have a little bit of white, but I want to use this to see how things go, to start filling in that space for the mountain. I'm going very close to Parvati's shoulder and hand. That's where I have done. Yeah, just as a sample to see how it goes, which means there's going to be a lot of spaces where it's going to be white or very light. Yeah, it need not be a perfect titanium white. So if it's mixed with a slight bit of yellow ochre or blue, that is fine. Mhm. I am going to mark the areas in white, so to just make it simple for my eyes with a zero brush. Yeah, so this is an easier way. If you are really overwhelmed, okay, there's so many things I don't want to miss, I don't want to ruin anything, so do this. For example, I am working very close to the hip and the space in between Parvati's hip and hands. There is a little bit, so that's where we can see the background possibly. So I'm now working very close to her hands. Starting to make the, what do you call, the contours. So it helps me define where the white color is going to go. So I'm just coming down directly very close to the lion. That's where the contour ends for her body on this side. And then you see that's the contour of the lion, isn't it? That's the contour of the lion. So I'm just going down, marking it as such here. That is clearly defining me that space. And if I have to go up slightly, if you do not want to ruin this line that you have made for the lotus, yeah, we could do that. Mark this section. Yeah. And mark the mountain. I'm also continuing on the side, okay? Just remember wherever you are, continue on the side as well. Yeah. And yes. So this is the area that's going to be turning into white. And I'm going to use the angular brush one more time to go ahead and fill it. You can use an angular brush. You can use a even larger brush, like I have the round brush number 12, the big one. That also could be a nice idea to work with. Mhm. So I'm going about filling, and remember to also do the sides in alignment with the shape that you are building. Okay, if it's the mountain here, then it's going to be the mountain on the side as well, isn't it? So it looks really totally aligned. I'm going to take some more white. I haven't really refilled anything in my palette. I've been using what I had from the last session. So I'm taking a bit more of the white. We will need quite a bit of it. Taking that. Good. I'm going to take this white and I will blend in a little bit of some other color so it doesn't turn out to be totally white. And we don't want that titanium white to appear all the time. Yeah, it could be misleading also. uh, Mountains are not necessarily titanium white always. Yeah, and I'm just gonna blend in. I have blended in a bit of the blue, whatever color that I had, so it is slightly on the very light bluey side. So I'm filling in this space. And if I need, which I think I would also really appreciate to pick up the large round brush number 12 to push the colors through. That makes things slightly faster for me. Okay, so you can see this section is pretty much filled in, yes? So we are going to do the same thing in the other section as well. So if I have to go back, I'm going to go back to my zero brush. First, marking the contours. There are so many things here. I'm just going to mark the contour here, very close to Shiva's hip and the elbows, stopping very closely. This is another confusing area because the cow is also white, isn't it? And we'll have to really define what is that white and what is this white. So that's something we will have to work on when we come to more detailing. Yeah. So for now, I have just marked this contour, filling in white in between to get the job going here. So the mountain section up here is done. Let's move again to this space around his shoulder. There's a lot of elements. Just be careful. His fingers and then comes the mountain that I made. I think I will go with my angular brush now to fill this space. Done. Mm-hmm. Moving the angle a bit more closer to me so it's easier for me to work on this space very close to his hand on the other side. We're coming again very close to the cow. Its horn. Wherever there are minute sections, I'm just continuing with my zero brush to fill in. Good. The contour of the horn. And we come down to the ear. I am leaving those brown, burnt umber lines that I made so that it's for the cow's contour, so that it's not so confusing because these are all white again. Mm-hmm. You see? Yes. So I'm coming down. But before I come down, I think I want to crack this area and finish it. I don't think I did this side. Or did I decide on anything on the side? I want to show you. So if I want to just continue this line, that's exactly how I would do it. And then let's just fill in the space between 3, 4, and 5, and then we can come down further. Yeah. I'm continuing with this brush. On some of the sections that are really close to Shiva, and also in between this, the horn and the ear of the cow. I think now the space becomes slightly easier for me to attack with the larger brush, which I'm going to do right away. So if you see the way I'm switching the brush, it's just obvious that, yeah, when I work on the contours, I am using the smallest of the brush. Closer to the contours, really minute details, I use a smaller brush like this one. And then some obviously easy areas, then I'm moving on to the large brush. Isn't it? So and then let's see what is there on this background. Okay. Then we are going to do the sky background, which is on the top. For the sky background, I'm going to add blue, of course. And I'm just thinking of which blue will I do. I'm going to take a bit of ultramarine blue. But not too much, tad bit of it, and add it to the white. I'm going to show you how things go. Right here. So you see, I have a slight bit of this blue. I'm going to add it to this white that I have. Yeah. Go on adding it until it becomes a very light blue. I don't want it to thicken at all. I'm adding some more of the oil to blend into that white. And I think I like the finish of this. This is okay. It looks very light when I'm testing it here. And it's almost like white, but there is a slight difference. And that's exactly what I want for now. Because if I want to make it darker, I could work on it in the upcoming, um, layers, not now. I don't need it right away. So I think I'm now ready to do the contours first. Let's do it safely with the contours and then work on the um, paint as such. So to do the contour, I'm going to start in the same area, the mountain here, and making the contour go up close to his hand. You'll see a lot of objects are there obstructing you. Just be watchful when you're doing these contours. If you're someone who's used to, filling and blocking very efficiently, please go ahead and speed up. If you are not, just take some time to look at the contours where you are going to work, and the small little spaces in between objects. That's really, nasty. And also remember, the oil is still wet. We are working on it. So keep that in mind when you go inside the trident. Yeah, there is also some space. One other way that I would work is that I would simply do the background first and then start planning on the key images. That way it becomes very easy for us to work on the background, and it's usually very, what do you call, uniform background. But in this case, there's also a lot to work with. Plus, to be honest, it was very difficult for me to decide on the background that I wanted. I think you already saw that I hadn't decided on the background at all when we started the sketching, the planning, and so on. So that's how we have marked the contour lines here on the trident and the damaru. We're coming close to the snake. This is why I said, let's do the Ganga later, but also with all the components, there is a sure chance that we miss out one of the components which I didn't want to do. So I'm just going for it close to the hairline and his the knot, and coming down to that C, the curve of the Ganges water. Gonna use this brush to go ahead and paint. Let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm just going to paint this off ever so lightly here. It looks almost the same, but very, very closely, if you take a look, it looks slightly different with the color. Yeah. So I'm just filling in this space. Yeah. Fantastic. Let's see how we are doing with the time. We are fairly okay. Gonna need a little bit more of this white and blue. In a short while, I think I will have to go for a refill. The way I'm filling in is, movements up and down, and also I do some circular motion to make sure that the second layer goes in very well into the cloth. Okay. I think I'm going to roll in the large brush now. Yeah. All right, this side is fairly done, but the side is missing, isn't it? That's also the sky. You see better than me, so you'll have to check. All right. We need some more color for this side. And also the top. Remember, the top of the canvas also needs to be filled in with that same color. So I'm going to take some more white and blue. There you go. Some more white. I'm going to need the brush here, the angular brush, to first mix the color. So when you're mixing the color, this is something that I wanted to say, that when you're refilling and mixing the color, the tendency is that we don't get the exact same color because we mixed a little too much or less. So that usually happens. Just be aware of that. Maybe it wouldn't matter too much if you are, working on the second layer only. But then when we move to layers and layers, when you are already seeing the final layer that is coming up, yes, it will start affecting. So do check when you are working. Is this the same? Is it close or not? And when you are moving to the final layer, my advice is that you take ample amount of paint, especially on the larger areas that you want, to make sure that you don't miss out on colors and it doesn't look like one color on one side, yeah, another color on the other side. We don't want that. For now it doesn't really matter because it's just the layer 2. We will work on few more layers at least, but then yes, it'll begin to matter when we are coming close to the end of the painting, yeah, finishing the painting. So right now I'm coming back to the same contour logic, doing the contours first. Don't worry too much about anything going wrong like this. Yeah, you can fix it, but um, if you want, but as much as possible, we try our best not to make mistakes. But then, if it happens, then we have our other layers to catch up also. I try to correct as many mistakes as possible. I call it the correction stage, and you have seen that happening in this class also in the beginning. So when I call it corrections, that's a correction time for me. Now look at it, the color changed. The color changed for me. I can see that. Yeah, somehow I shouldn't. So I'm blending in more of white here because I accidentally used a little more of the blue. Yeah, even though it is the second layer only and it doesn't matter, I try my best to have it close to what I want. Yeah, and neutral. So yeah, like I said, it's just a choice that you are making. If you are attentive here in this layer, then the other layers tend to become easier for you. Yeah, and less of corrections to work on, more of just doing the aesthetics in the other layers. Otherwise, each and every layer tends to be a challenge that you are correcting and you have a lot of changes to make and then you need to hide and so on. So just keep that in your mind. So right now I am finishing up with the contours on this side. Is actually pretty less, isn't it? It was so easy for me to just glide along here as compared to what I did. I think it's the Damaru, the Trident, and so many things up there that made it really, really difficult for us there. Huh? Here, this is fairly, it's only her hand with the flower and, the head. So we are pretty much there, and I think we can move on to the large brush directly to do the filling here. I'm doing the sides as well. Yeah. Okay, I haven't thought much about it now that we are working on the sky. There's this mountain giving us the lightness in the back. What should we have as the base? Should it be rocks? Should it be grass? Some green for the contrast. That's an interesting thought. Right now, I'm going to just release the top of my. So you get to see what I'm doing here. I'm going to just move this to a side way. So it is easier for me to work on this angle. So I'm working on the top of the painting, but I'm just moving it in this angle so it's easier for me to work. Yeah. And you see better. Do you see better? Yeah, I think your camera is better. You guys see better. Yes. Right. I think I managed fine with that. I'm just double checking from my angle here. It is fine. This is fair enough. So we are, you know, done with almost half of it. Let's see how are we doing with the time. Um, we will need a few more minutes, but let's see if we can manage. Fine. I am going to add some green onto this white to lighten it up. Um, so I have a grass background here, and I'm not going to change the brush or wash the brush because this will go well with the blue here and blend well. Can you see? This is good enough, and I'm going to use that to go ahead and fill those sections on the bottom. So I haven't really decided on whether I want it to be a rock or something, but I think it gives a good meaning that we'll give a light green background so it's easier for us to convert any which ways that we want. Yeah. So I'm going to come here for the contour. So let's just work really fast on the contours. So I'm going really fast here with the contour of the line. I added earth green. Yeah, that's what I had. And we talked about the colors in our previous class as well. Yeah. So that's what I added to the titanium white, which already had a little bit of blue in it. So it's just a mixture of colors. That is okay for me. Right now, I am on the paw of the animal, the lion. When I work on the paw, I also see that there is this space in between both the legs of the animal, which can be filled right away. Yeah. And then moving ahead with this contour of the body. Coming close to the contour of Shakti. But remember here, the angle changed, isn't it? So we are just removing all these. This is going to be, so that's the old angle that I'm just going to remove. So I am, because it's wet and it was pink, it's just blending with the green. That is fine. Yeah. So we have the contour made here. Contour between the foot. That was easy. Maybe we can fill it in thoroughly right away. Yeah. So can we fill these two areas very fast with the green? Yes. So it doesn't really If you look at the colors on a base level, it doesn't look like, there's too much of a color difference right now between the white and the blue sky and the green that we chose. It's not a, you know, it's not the right colors that we are going to use really, but it's just the base. I'm building in that lighter base, so it's easier for me to build on anything that I need real quick. Yeah, as we go along. Because some of the paintings, if you ask me, why haven't you decided this? For some of the paintings, it's also hard to decide on a background, especially in a case like this where you have so many things going. I really want to see another layer of it, of the details, before I can come to a conclusion of what goes best with this kind of image and what will do justice and not. We don't want the background to really capture the attention. We want the main characters to thrive. Yeah. Okay, so I'm now back with the other side. So I'm going to move the angle around for you one more time. So you get to see here contours. Okay, good. We're really there. We're nearly there. Yeah. So there are some crazy contours here. Let's just quickly go over that. Very close to Shiva's leg. And remember, we also adjusted the angle of Shiva's leg. So remember to rework that. And this part can be, I'll use my angular brush a tad bit to fill in the space nicely. Yes. Good. Fairly done. Going back to making the contours again here, I can use the contour and also fill the space between the trident's last, you know, edge, and also the cow's leg. Yeah, so this is easy. Have we filled in properly? Yes. Good. If this is going slightly faster for you, I would really suggest that you are taking a break and maybe pausing this video and doing it slowly, coming back to this. If you're faster than me, then it's just awesome. Keep going, keep going. Yes, I'm working on the legs of the cow, making the contour. Fantastic. You're nearly there. Last lap of the contour coming up. It's also okay to paint without doing the contours if you're very sure of those edges and curves and sharp edges and so on. Just go ahead, do it. Yes, this is where the contour ends, and we are ready to go with the large brush now. Ah, filling this in. One thing I will do is also paint the edges, isn't it? So the sides. So I'm moving this around, and I will also paint the side underneath, which means I'm going to move the whole angle around. This is very difficult because all three sides are now full section visible for us to paint on. Done. Awesome. So this was intense correction come filling, finalizing the second layer. Let's put this back in order. Again, I'm going behind the canvas, taking the help of those wooden pieces that we had used to push it back to normal. So we are now done with the layer 2 of this painting. Amazing, isn't it? So let's have a look how it is. Push this slightly behind so we get a good view. Yep, very good. All right. So let's summarize what we did. This class, it was an intense, filling session, but still fun-filled session. Filling and blocking is always a fun-filled session because we're not looking at the logic of shades yet, isn't it? So we had super fun now with filling, and we are done with filling all the areas, deciding on the background as well. We have really decided on a simple background yet to be developed. That is leaving us some space for us to really think as the painting grows. So this is another learning that's going to come up. It's going to be a tremendous amount of learning, which it already is, and I'm so happy for that. And if you have reached this far, congratulations. Do not worry about, oh, the missing details, animal doesn't look fit, the eyes don't look fit, or this and that. Yes, we are going to work on each and every detail with so much patience and attention in the layers that are coming. For now, the target was to fill the second layer and place things in their proper manner. Yeah. Do have a look at it. Doesn't mean that you overlook all the errors. Do have a look at it. Keep that in mind. Maybe make a note of it. And we will continue to make those corrections in the upcoming sessions. And if you at this moment think, oh, um, I haven't done the kind of errors that you made, Gomati, but I have very different kind of errors now with me. Maybe you will not cover it in the upcoming sessions. Ah, no, not really. Because we are going to go into every single detail so very much that in case you've got it wrong and I've got it right in some manner, you will still see the way I am making that 3D effect and so on coming up. So you will still get a chance to correct or to amend things around with all the layers. So that's what I could promise you. Congratulations on reaching this far. And yes, keep the good work going. Let's meet in the next session. I would say leave this for a couple of days, at least 3 to 4 days, if not more, to rest so that you can look at it objectively. Also, let the paint really sit on the canvas So we are able to build a very, very interesting and objective layer 3. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.